Do you ever think to yourself, why does everything in my life feel like an uphill battle? Do you get overwhelmed when you're thinking about the near future? Maybe you even blame yourself for making the decisions that got you here. We all know that one person who seems to have life all figured out, always making decisions with ease and confidence. Things always seem to go their way. That can be you. Today, I'm here to talk about what you can do when everything in life feels like an uphill battle. This is going to be a series, so I hope you stick around. In this video, I'm going to explain why things feel so hard right now, and then I'm going to share one simple but important thing you can do immediately to create change today, even if you don't trust yourself. If you stick to the end, I bet you'll be surprised by how easy it can be to feel better about the overwhelm you're feeling in your life right now. Hi, I am Ina, your hypnotherapist friend and tour guide through the labyrinth of your subconscious mind. I'll show you how to become the architect of the authentic, liberated life you desire. If you haven't yet, make sure to download my free guide called Burned Out to Liberated and give your future self a head start today. You can grab it up above or down in the description. Now, before we talk about what you can do when everything in your life feels like an uphill battle, let's look at why things feel this difficult. Without understanding what got you here, you won't be able to effectively change it. Plus, learning about yourself is fun. I'll get right to the point. The reason things feel so challenging right now is because you are not tuned into and therefore not following your authentic needs, values, or desires. You are looking to outside sources to figure out what might bring you happiness, what success should look like. It makes sense to make decisions about our lives based on how we want to be perceived by others. We do it not only because we naturally trust the people and communities we love, respect, and want to be part of, but also because mirroring or subconsciously repeating other people's behaviors allows us to automatically feel a sense of belonging. Unfortunately, what we're talking about here is externalizing your happiness, and it is very taxing. Not only do you have to guess what other people might find lovable or impressive about you, this mind-reading game in itself is already stress-inducing, but what if you know more than one person? Of course you're overwhelmed. You are trying to predict, then fulfill, then course correct your actions based on the expectations of just like way too many people. Most of the time, this process is completely subconscious, which means that you are constantly exhausted, but probably don't realize why. Here is an even more important energetic fact that you innately know to be true. You have the blueprint to all the answers within you right now. Everything you need to know in order to move forward positively already exists inside you. But the answers you have are only right for you. If you are following your authentic path, then finding solutions to problems would be an intuitive process. Because you're looking within yourself to answers to other people's expectations, there is a mismatch of information. It's like looking for directions on a New York City map when you're in London. I've mentioned this already, but our pursuit of love, respect, and belonging happens subconsciously. I'm gonna explain that a little bit further and lay down the groundwork. Your subconscious mind controls 95 to 97% of your actions and impulses. A lot of this energy is spent on things you never have to think about, like how to make your heart beat or how to digest food. But the subconscious mind also controls how you think and behave. And because there is so much going on, it automatically prioritizes efficiency. The vast majority of your current thoughts and behaviors have been programmed into your subconscious based on things you've learned in the past. Imagine your subconscious mind like a forest of possibilities. A big part of it may be unexplored, but there are also many paths you've already taken, things you've done. Each path you've walked down represents a neural pathway, a memory of an experience from which you learned a lesson or drew a conclusion. Now, you are not consciously aware of the majority of these lessons. Here is a great example of how these neural pathways help you. Think of something you do every day. Zombie walking to the kitchen to get your first cup of coffee. When you wake up and it's time to take action, you are standing in front of a metaphorical crossroads of possibilities. A long time ago, you learned that coffee in the morning is a good idea. There's a nice wide path that leads you directly to the kitchen. You may find yourself there without even thinking about it. Making all the tiny decisions along the way, also known as using your willpower, would not only take a long time, but be really energetically taxing. So having this morning coffee program makes life a lot easier. Now, if we zoom out to non-caffeine related subjects, We get to see that, on the one hand, not questioning how you're doing things is really efficient. With enough repetition, that pathway turns into a highway even faster and easier to go down. That's amazing. You're saving time and energy, two of your most precious resources. On the other hand, without pause or awareness, getting on that highway automatically produces repeat outcomes, even if the side effects that come with it are unpleasant or painful. Here is why I'm talking about this. One of the first things you learned as a child was how to receive attention and love. Those are vital resources. Humans are completely defenseless when we come into the world. Depending on how you had to adapt to receive attention and love, those pathways were set. And that was a long time ago, way before you could speak or even be consciously aware of what you were doing. And guess what? You have been repeating versions of those same instinctive techniques your entire life. Those neural pathways are now so strong, you are flying down that highway, going on autopilot. The reason why each thing you do right now feels like an uphill battle, where you feel powerless to or incapable of finding the right solutions to your current challenges, is that while you are saving energy by going on autopilot towards love and belonging, the road you're on isn't leading you home. Every time you arrive, you are in someone else's front yard, maybe in a different state, maybe a different country. It's time to create a thoughtful strategy so that you can arrive at the exact place you want to be. Now that we talked about why everything in your life feels like an uphill battle, I'm gonna give you some actionable things you can do right now in order to create change. The action step I'm about to share is going to make a huge difference all on its own. But if you stick around and watch the rest of the videos in the series, I think you'll be surprised by how massive of a transformation is already available to you. So do your future self a favor and hit that subscribe button. As you already know, what got you to this place of overwhelm and lack of trust in yourself is following the needs and expectations of everyone else. Now, the first thing you can do today to experience relief from all of that and to begin to build trust in yourself is to affirm your needs. You will begin by looking to the internal force, the engine already driving your actions. Here's how. If you have a piece of paper nearby, you're going to write down and create a shit that sucks list. TM. And on this list, you're gonna put everything that causes the most stress in your life right now. You're gonna look at each thing on this list and figure out what are the obvious needs that are being fulfilled here. What legitimately feels good about engaging in this situation. Next, you're gonna say to yourself, clearly parts of this feel shitty. Why do I have to keep doing this? Why can't I just stop? And once you get those answers, you will quickly realize that even though the situation feels legitimately terrible, there are additional hidden needs being satisfied here. You are just going about fulfilling them in a backwards way. You are probably gonna have an aha moment when you get to this part in the process. If you're a little confused, no worries. I'm gonna share a personal example from my life to show you how you can do this. Before I became a hypnotherapist, I worked in the fashion industry for 14 years. There were many aspects of the jobs I held that I enjoyed and others that were straight up soul crushing. It was a creative job that I thought looked good on the outside, and that was really important to me. Unfortunately, no matter which company I worked for, I constantly found myself in different yet similarly abusive work dynamics. Had I made this list then, I would have felt validated that I was satisfying some important needs. Had I asked myself, why did I have to stick with it? I would have seen that I believed that this job was my entire identity, that I couldn't disappoint my parents, and lastly, that I had wasted so much time on this career, there was no way I could ever be as good at anything else. If you recognize that last way of thinking, just know that it's not true. I wasn't consciously aware of that thought process though. I just knew that I was exhausted and depleted. Everything felt hopeless. I wish that I had asked myself, how come getting paid to do this is so important to my identity? Because that's what a job is. How come making my parents proud is so important to me? And is this really the only way that I can do that? And why do I believe, as a person in my 30s, that I am out of time? The hidden needs I was fulfilling at the time in a bass-ackwards way were feeling unique, a sense of identity, receiving love and acceptance, and abundance, aka not feeling like a loser who's wasting her time. Having this clarity would have been my aha moment. Knowing why you're doing the things you're doing helps you see that not only are you not crazy for letting these bad things happen to you, it allows you to recognize that you had good reasons for choosing these experiences. Let me repeat that. The fulfillment of your underlying needs is so important to you that you chose to meet them however you could, even if it was in all of these inadequate ways. Now here comes your aha moment. You get to have a say in how you fulfill your needs. You don't have to take what's been given to you. You don't have to change anything now, even though you'll probably want to. By simply becoming aware of what you are actually looking for underneath all of these challenging experiences, you will have lightened the weight you've been carrying and diminished the slope of that metaphorical hill you've been climbing. To sum up, if you want to stop feeling like everything in your life is an uphill battle, instead of blaming yourself or blaming the world, validate why you got here by affirming your needs. And listen, in case you don't already know this, you deserve to be seen and you deserve to be loved. If you feel any shame about these basic human needs, I hope that you subscribe to my channel and click that notification bell. I'm going to help you rediscover your self-worth. So, what do you do after you've acknowledged your needs? In my next video, I'm going to show you how you can find the root cause of most of the issues you're dealing with so you can take one strategic action and finally begin to transform your life.